Everyone getting Brian's message that his microphone isn't working?
Oh, no.
Yeah, let's see.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what to do about that.
Well, I think he can type his translation in and somebody can read it. That'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
You got the chat feature at the bottom there.
Yeah, that may be weird, but we could try. It would be a new experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for new experience. Well, not really, but
We have to be the most conservative bunch of people.
right. Okay, so we're at Murchu's Life of St. Patrick, Chapter 2, Section 2, and Paula is continuing her translation.
Oops. No, she's there. Her.
Yeah, you're there. Paula?
Your microphone is muted, Paula.
Oh, I can maybe, I can unmute it. Paula, can you hear and talk?
No.
You can't hear?
Working.
Okay, I hear you.
We hear you.
Do this.
I don't know what to say.
And now her microphone is muted again.
Right. Paula, can you hear? Can you see?
That's weird.
That is, it's always, you've never had technical problems before.
Can we chat to her?
I just,
Oh, there's.
a couple of us just typed something.
Right. Oh, now she's gone.
Oops. Maybe she's going to try to get onto it again. Tune it again.
Well, I'm going to say, Jen, do you want to just fill in? I don't know why you have to be the filler, but
Yeah, not a problem.
okay.
All right, so we're at section 2.2. Nel quoque silvestre, ut quondam Johanni subvenit, mutatis tamen, pessimorum gentilium merito porcinis carnibus, pro locustarum ursu. So also, some forest honey came to help, as formerly it had come to help John with porcinis carnibus, pig meat, pork. Mutatis, but that's mutatis, as the note said, with pork having been changed, tamen, however, merito, by the merit, or like because of the merit, but it's not a good merit here as I understand it, by the merit of the terrible pagans, the worst pagans, pessimorum gentilium. Pro locustarum usu, in place of the use of locusts. So instead of eating locusts, they were eating pork.
Mm-hmm.
Paula? No? Okay. And if there are any questions, please, I'm happy to stop. Ille autem sanctus patricius nihil gustans dehis cibis, immollaticium enim erat, nec esuriens nec sitiens manset Elaisos. However, that St. Patrick, tasting nothing from these foods, a partitive use of day, for it was a immollaticium, a sacrificial offering. Nec esuriens nec sitiens, neither hungering nor thirsting, he remained, mansit Elaisos, which is Elaisos, of course, in the medieval spelling. He remained unharmed.
Good.
Eadem vero nocte dormiens, temptavit eum Satanas graviter, fingens saxa ingentia et quasi comminuens, jam membra eios. But sleeping on the same night, Satan tempted him, tried him seriously, graviter. Finganes creating, shaping, making huge rocks, saxa ingentia, et quasi, and as it were, smashing now his limbs. Sed invocato helia bina voce ortus est ei sol, qui refulgens expulit omnes caliginum tenebras, et restitutae sunt ei vires eius. But with Elijah having been called upon with a two-time voice, with a voice, twice with his voice, the sun arose for him. The sun qui, which, refulgens, shining, expulit, expelled, omnes caliginum tenebras, all the darkness of the fogs.
Mm-hmm.
And his strength, vires eius, was restored, restitutae sunt ei, to him.
Mm-hmm. Good. So the Latin, I think I understand as well as I can understand anything in life. I find the plot kind of strange there. Like, why wouldn't Patrick be able to eat this food? And why is, I would have thought it would. I take it the force of the first sentence is, even though they were really bad men, it was a good thing for the food to be pig meat rather than locusts, because who the hell wants to eat locusts, right? So the first sentence, I guess I understand, even though I think it's misleading, right? In other words, they're not turning the pig meat, it's not turning into pig meat because they're terrible men. It's kind of despite the fact that they're terrible men, right? But does anyone understand why he couldn't eat the pig meat too? Oh, maybe because it's pig meat. That was their ban on pig meat?
Right. Remember the Jewish tradition? There was something last week about he was held in servitude for 7 years or something, as was the Jewish custom.
Right, but so you think he's
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it's from Corinthians, where Paul is answering a question about whether or not Christians can eat meat that's sold in the Greek markets, because typically in a Greek town, anything sold in the market has already been sacrificed to pagan gods. So Paul says, as long as it's not actually been part of a sacrifice, you can go ahead and eat it.
Right,
but part of a sacrifice.
But how can this be sacrificial meat? These are wild boars in the wilderness.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think the clue is in the Imolaticum erat. They sacrificed the meat right before they ate it.
Oh, you think they just did?
So I think that's a passive, right? They came on the pigs, the wild boars, killed them, and then sacrificed them. And after, of course, that's typically just a bleeding out, right? The people get to eat the meat, and the entrails and stuff get sacrificed. But so that's my guess, is that it has to do with Paul saying, as long as it's not part of a sacrifice, go ahead and eat it.
Right.
So therefore Patrick can't eat.
Right. So you're assuming the pagan sailors literally sacrificed. They said, okay, this is an offering to God, to our gods. So it was.
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
So that he couldn't eat it.
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Great. Let me see if there's any sign of John Mark, which requires finding the right thing. Participants. Not unless he's Bambi, MWTB, or the Iron Warrior. He was John Mark, so I don't think he's here. So, would anyone else like to volunteer, or should we leave it for Jen? It's up to you guys.
I'm willing to, since I accidentally translated his instead of the one I signed up for.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Happy accident.
Oh, wait. MWTB has raised his hand. What does that mean? What do I do about that? Do you want me to I don't know what that means.
Could they type us a
Because
message?
there's a software There's that button down there that says raise your hand.
Well, yes, but what
That I
follows?
don't know.
Does that mean, well, MWTB, does that mean if you want to be promoted, why don't you send a chat thing? Brian O'Donnell's back. This is so confusing. Well, it's not that confusing. But anyway, MWTB. Oh, this is Brian O'Donnell. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
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 Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
How are you?
Wonderful.
We're just having MWTB has raised a hand, and I don't know what to do about that. So send us a text and tell us what you want to do in chat. Maybe I didn't read about hand raising.
I don't see a thing in the.
It's not raised anymore, so maybe they changed their mind. Maybe it was an accident.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Okay, well, Levi, do you want to, so we're at section 3.
All right.
Take it away.
And I'll try the chunking thing. So, et iterum post multos annos capturam ab alienígenes pertulit.
Mhm.
So, and again, after many years, he was carried through, or excuse me, he was set free, or he carried himself through, journeyed through his captivity from or under the foreigners.
By the foreigners. So pertulit is from perfero, which means, among other things, endure or suffer. So he endured capture at the hands of foreigners.
That makes sense. I was looking at the word too literally, like carried through, but
Right.
he carried himself through, I guess. Okay. Ubi prima nocte audire meruit responsum divinum sibi decens. Dubus mincibus eris cum illis id est cum inimicis tuis. So, when on the first night, there we go. When on the first night.
Meruit, or where? So when or where on the first night he
Earned.
served, he earned the right. He
merited.
he merited.
Yeah, he merited to hear a divine response.
Right.
Saying to him, okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Saying to him, Adubis mensibus, in 2 months, eris, you will cum illis with those, I suppose his friends or
Mhm.
companions.
Well, I think these are the foreigners that they captured him. So duobus mensibus for ablative of time when, right? For 2 months,
Right.
you might expect accusative extent, but it's in for 2 months. You will be with them.
Right. That makes more sense. Thank you. It est inimicis tuis. It is with your enemies.
Yes. Now, maybe I need to gloss this idiom, the id est, which of course we've incorporated in English as
Right.
i.e., right? So it's
Yeah.
i.e., you'll be with them, i.e. with your friends. Literally, that is with your friends.
Enemies.
Sure.
Enemies, right. Sorry, thank you.
Frenemies. We'll go with that. So, quod effectum est, it happened that way. Thus, well, I guess literally, thus it happened.
Mhm.
It happened thus. So that came true. And sexigissimo, inem de liberalis eam dominus de manibus eorum praevidens ei committibus suis cibum et ignem et secitatem
Mhm.
quotidiae donec decimo die pervenerant ad hominem.
Good.
On the 60th.
Mhm.
The 60th day, indeed, the Lord set him free, Dominus liberavit eam, de manibus eorum, from their hands, revidens ei, providing for him, cum committibus suis, with his committibus.
Companions.
With his companion.
Plural of
Thank
comes,
you.
comitus. Uh-huh.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Providing them kibum et egnum et skitatum, quotidiae, food and fire and dry weather, traveling weather, daily. Donadecimo die pervenerunt ad homines. Meanwhile, for the first 10 days, or for 10 days,
Donek.
days isn't plural.
Donek means until. So, so giving him food and fire and dryness every day until, right, decimo die on the 10th day.
And then on the 10th day, he brought them to the men.
Right. Well, they per venera, they made it. Right. They made it to human beings, right, to habitation.
Yes.
And everyone knows, because at least in medieval, everybody tends to know this. Decimo die means, of course, in 9 days, right? The way that I always remember it, and again, it's easier in medieval. If you know the creed in Latin, tertia die means on the 3rd day, and we all know that Jesus died, was resurrected 2 days after he died, right? It's this inclusive reckoning that the Romans do and the Middle Ages do that is all kind of hard to wrap your mind around, but we get there, right?
Right.
One other very detailed point about the Latin, way back at the beginning of that sentence, enim is one of my favorite words to get right. It doesn't mean just something like indeed, it means for, and it explains what's coming. It means that this sentence explains what's just been said. And what was just said is, and so it happened, for in 60 days the Lord freed him, right?
Okay.
So enim is one of those rare words in Latin. Greek has lots of words that explain the connection between the logical connections between sentences. Latin tends to just say things like indeed, or I don't know. But enim is one very clear, logical, structuring word that's really useful to kind of get to just kind of get under your belt.
And so enim in this case means something like, and this is how it happened.
Right. So he says, and it happened that way. Why do I say that? Because here's what happened. The Lord liberated him on the 60th day. So it shows the connection between the two sentences.
Right.
It was the quod ita factum est is what means, and then that's how it happened.
Right.
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 And then elaborate.
And then it explains that it explains how it happened. Yep.
And just because this passage has so many little time phrases, you can really see ablative of time when over and over. They use prima nocte, sexagesimo die, decimo die. Those are all ablatives of time when. So when you say when something happened, it's in the ablative with no preposition. Although you will see that Muirchú continually uses prepositions with the ablative of time when elsewhere, but here it's not. And then there's also that duobus mancibus, which has become ablative, but in classical Latin would have been an accusative, as William said earlier. So there's kind of, and then post multos annos as well, the after many years. So a whole bunch of different ways to express time in here.
Good. Do you want to keep going, Levi, or do you want anybody else want to take over? Speak now, or Jen, do you want to do it?
I'll volunteer.
All right.
Me?
Go right ahead.
Oh, sorry, Victoria. I don't think Zoom is very good about lighting up our postage stamps. I can't tell. I found it hard to see who's talking. Anyway, go ahead, Victoria.
So section 4. Et iterum post paucos annos ut antea in patria sua propria apud parentes suos requievit. And again, and thereafter, after a few years, he rested as before in his own fatherland, in patria sua propria, apud parentes suos, at the house of his parents, qui ut filium susceperunt rogantes illum ut vel sic post tantas tribulationes et temptationes de reliquo vitae numquam ab illis discederet, who received him as a son, asking him that perhaps thus, after such tribulations and temptations, he might, for the remainder of his life, he might never go away from them. He might never depart from them. Numquam ab illis discederet. Sed ille non consensit, but he didn't agree. Et ibi ostensae sunt ei multae visiones. And thereupon there were shown to him many visions.
Yeah,
Many visions were shown to him.
Right. Ibi, I would just say that it means there, right? Just when he was there with his parents.
So it's at that place.
At that place. That's the most normal meaning. I'm sure it could mean thereupon or something like that. But I think there works fine, right? When he was with them, he saw all these visions. By the way, Victoria, you're using my first edition. My second edition is improved in considerable ways, not least getting rid of misprints and typos and anyway, but as long as we're reading aloud, we know what we're dealing with. It has there's a dispute between reke parent and susce parent, and I think I ended up with reke parent. Anyway, section 5 is Mona, yes?
Yeah, this is section 5.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll read a sentence and then go through it. Et erat annorum trigenta secundum apostolum in virum perfectum occurrens in mensuram aetatis plenitudinis Christi. And he was literally of 30 years old, according to the apostle, moving towards occurrens, being understood a perfected man, in the measure of the age of the fullness of Christ. So he was almost Jesus's age. Egressus ad sedem apostolicam visitandum et honorandum ad caput utique omnium ecclesiarum totius mundi. Egressus, having set out for the purpose of visiting and the purpose of honoring the Apostolic See, at the head, utique, certainly of all the churches of the whole world, ut sapientiam divinam sanctaque mysteria, adquae vocavit illum Deus, discret atque intelligeret et impleret. The So he was at the head, certainly, of all the churches of the whole world, in order that he might learn and atque intelligere, understand, and fulfill the divine wisdom and sanctaque mysteria, the holy mysteries to which God called that man. Ad quae vocavit illum Deus, disceret adque, okay, read that already, et ut praedicaret et donaret divinam gratiam in nationibus externis, convertens ad fidem Christi. So he learned about the divine mysteries to which God called him, so that he might praedicaret, he might proclaim, understood, I guess, the gospel, et donaret, and give divine grace to foreign nations, converting these nations, I guess, ad fidem Christi, to the faith of Christ.
Yes. Yes, it's weird. Not very weird, I guess. Literally, I guess it's and would give grants of divine grace among foreign nations.
Yeah.
But of course, that means what you said. It's just, I mean,
Yes, expressed strangely.
You'd expect donaret to take a dative, but it seems to be, what's the word? Not used, just used transitively. Just use transitive to give gifts of divine grace. Any questions? Any thoughts?
I think it's possible there that the construction that he's thinking of, because you do often see dono with an ablative, like bestow something on someone, and I think that's probably what he's thinking of, but he's also put in a preposition.
Right. So you think it's really bestow on, to bestow on.
I do. My first thought was among when Mona just did it. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh no, not to, among. But I actually think, giving it another thought, I think it's bestow divine grace on.
I guess they have to see make sure that the medieval usage. Yeah. Good. Keep going, Mona.
Okay, this is part 6, section 6. Transnavigato igitur mari dextro Britannico ac cepto itenere per Gallias Alpes ad extremum ut corde proposuerat transcensurus quindam sanctissimum episcopum Altisiodori civitate principem Germanum Galliarum paene omnium summum dominum invenit. So with that ablative absolute, so the right hand or the southern British Sea having been crossed, and the journey through the Gauls, I guess that's Transalpine, maybe that's why it's plural, Transalpine and Cisalpine Gaul.
Well, just it just means what we would call, just means France.
But it is often plural Gallii and Escalatin as well, and it is because it refers to both the Gauls, both Transalpine and Cisalpine.
Right.
Okay, so having been undertaken, transcensurus, about to cross the Alps, finally, as he had proposuerat, as he had intended or purposed in his heart, he found a certain very holy bishop, Germanus, leader in civitate principum, leader in the city of Auxerre or Altisiodori, the greatest lord of almost all of the Gauls. Apudquem non pauro tempore demoratus juxta id quod Paulus ad pedis Gamaliel fuerat in omnis subjectioni et patientia atque obedientia scientiam sapientiam castitatemque et omnem utilitatem tam spiritus quam animae cum magno Dei timore et amore in bonitate et simplicitate cordis corpori et spiritu virgo toto animi desiderio didicit dilexit et custodivit. So with whom, or having delayed no little time with him, meaning, what's his name? Germanus.
Yeah, demoror can mean like having stayed.
Having stayed, right. No little time with him. Juxta, in conformity with that which Paul, or like Paul, I guess you could say like that which Paul had been at the feet of Gamaliel.
Mm-hmm.
In omni subjectione, in all subjection and patience and obedience. Let's better find the verb. Or else it sounds weird. Then down at the very end, the verb didicit, he learned, dilexit, loved, and preserved knowledge, scientiam, sapientiam, and wisdom and chastity. And every benefit, utilitatem, every benefit or advantage, as much of the spirit as of the soul, spiritus quam animae, with great fear and love of God, in goodness and simplicity of heart, in body and spirit, a virgin, with total desire of mind.
Good. Good. Does anyone know what the difference between the spirit and the soul is? I realize this is a big question. Like, I would have thought they were the same thing, but...
I wanted to ask that.
Yes. I have a feeling it's a medieval, whether anima is more, I don't know.
Well, I mean, this, just speaking as somebody who's done like very, very casual reading about medieval, it seems like maybe the soul is more analogous to the part of people that makes them made in the image of God, whereas the spirit may refer more to the conscious self that we could analyze. That's not very distinct, but I've talked with some people who've read.
I agree. It seems you want the distinction between, as it were, brain and spirit, but the trouble is both those words to us seem to mean spirit. But I'm sure you're right that spiritus could mean more like, I don't know, your energy, your. So I think I just need to. I think we need to read. Somebody needs to read some medieval texts and see how they use it. Oh, Larry's gone out again. I'm not sure I can be heard, though I can. Larry says, I'm not sure I can be heard. I can see and hear everybody else. Maybe I can invite him back. No.
He's listed as a viewer right now, not a panelist.
Right. Now, how do I do that again? Participants. Oh, Paul is there and Larry's there. I'm sorry, I should have been checking this more. I can promote Paula and I can promote Larry. I can promote Bambi, but I don't know who that is. I'm not sure I like this whole nom de guerre thing on the internet, but never mind. I'm sure it's fun.
Hi.
Hi.
Yay.
Yeah, I came in a while ago, but I figured I was on as listener, and we were way past my section anyway, so I didn't say anything. The spirit soul thing, I'm trying to go from memory here. If we're talking about late Greco-Roman, there is this sense that the person doesn't pass on if they're died violently, for example. They don't pass on until the original intended end of their life comes. so they kind of float around their grave, and they can be forced to enact curses via lead tablets, curse tablets, things like that. So that spirit may be different, like the ghost may be different from the soul. As far as the Celts, which I suspect this might actually be about, I'm not entirely sure. I know that there are Native Americans and I think there's some Eurasian stuff too, where there are 3 different souls. There's one related to your eye, there's one related to your shadow, and there's one related to your reflection. And one of those is immortal, but the other 2 are not. And they reincarnate in lower and lower life forms until they sort of fade away, basically, into the background radiation. Whereas the original soul, which is with your eye, that's with the Calusa in Florida, stays with your body. So there are different concepts where you will have more than one soul. Like in Siberia, you can lose your soul but still be a functioning person because you have more than one soul. There's more than one type of soul. And a shaman has to go and rescue what is your spirit, basically, and bring it back for you to be restored to like psychic health. So it could be something like this.
But is there a medieval lexicon of anima versus spiritus? If we look those up in medieval dictionaries, a medieval spiritual dictionary, if there is such a thing, would it explain the difference?
There would be theological dictionaries.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking of stuff like zombies, where people are, they rise from the dead, but that person's soul is so evil that it's stuck in the body, or demons enter the body and sort of use it for fun.
Are there medieval Latin zombies?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
From about the 12th century. Seriously, from England. Yeah.
Send me the text.
Yeah.
We should read medieval Latin zombie texts. I've always wanted to be like.
I can look them up for next summer.
Okay.
But
All right.
I'm trying to think. No, this is tough because we're on the very edge of Christianity, and it's early Christianity. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. But generally in straight up Catholic mainstream, Catholic small c, mainstream theology, when your soul leaves.
Right.
And there's your breath, but there are superstitions that, like, when you sneeze and your breath comes out violently, your soul comes out. And that's why you say God bless you, because a demon might enter in because they're lurking nearby. But generally, the soul is singular. I mean, there's a Holy Spirit, and you can be filled with the Holy Spirit, which is a form of God. But that's different from the idea of you're having more than one soul. So I don't know. I mean, as I said, I don't know enough about ancient Celtic. I suspect that's what this might be. But
There's not
early medieval.
Is tam spiritus quam anime, it's not like an expression like ours, I'm into this heart and soul?
Right. I don't know.
Could be. The heart was seen as the seat of the mind until very late in the Middle Ages. People did not realize that the brain really had any function. So they thought it was that your thinking came from your heart, and that's like your emotions would come from your heart.
Right. Larry, do you have any thoughts about this? Oh, we can't hear. Oh, wait, hold it. He's muted. Why are you muted? Unmute.
Total desire of his. Oh, am I muted?
You were.
No, you're not now.
Start over.
I was saying that I think we might be overthinking it, because animus can just simply mean mind as well. So he remained a virgin in body and spirit,
Right.
With the entire desire of his mind.
Right. It is anima. I mean, anima is in classical Latin is different from the animus, but maybe it's close enough that it really does mean spirit and his soul and his mind. That's what Levi was suggesting.
Yeah.
I assume that I guess it's. Let's not fool with it. I mean, there may be a passage. It may be in the Vulgate, after all, as Victoria says. It may just be a phrase that I'm not familiar with.
It's not one I'm familiar with either. But
right. So yes, I think overthinking it might vary. But I think this course in general spends a lot of time overthinking things.
Say that like it's a bad
It's good for us, though.
It's what we do.
It's a good thing.
It's
We have lots of people with lots of different backgrounds, and so that enriches us all.
it's harmless, I guess. Anyway, section 7. Levi, do you want to do this, or did you do the wrong one? You said something about doing the wrong one.
Well, yeah, I read the whole thing briefly, but then I focused on those other passages that we've passed. So I could attempt this, but I would only be attempting it as a very novice person.
Let's see if we can get a volunteer. This is Matthew, by the way. Matthew, do you feel like translating? Or you?
Well, I can try, but I would need some help. I mean, but I can try. I can try as long as you're willing to help.
We're here to help. Okay.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. Peractisque ibi multis temporibus quasi ut alii quadraginta alii triginta annis ille antiquus valde fidelis victoricus nomine qui omnia sibi in Ibernica servitute posito antequam essent dixerat eum crepris visionibus visitavit dicens ei adesi tempus ut veniret et evangelico rete nationes ferdas et barbaras ad quas docendas miserat illum Deus ut piscaret ibique ei dictum est in visione vocant te filii et filiae silvae voclitae et caetera, etc. Oh boy. Is that from Parago?
Yeah.
So there, or in that place, over many times, with things having been done.
I think it's just the tempora or paracta, that with times having been done.
Okay.
Having been spent. Time having
All
been,
right.
many
So-
times having been spent there.
With many times, or much time having been spent there. Let's see, quadragin.
That's a hard little passage there.
Yeah.
Is that like some Ali and Ali is some others, right?
Well, right. I mean, some people think, right, and I think I need to make
It's like some people 40, some people 30 years.
right. Some people say like it's 30 years, and some people say
Right.
exactly.
Right. Okay. So some people think 30 or 40. Some people think 30. That ancient or old, ancient and very faithful man named Victoricus.
Mm-hmm. It's actually I mean, unless the text really is Antiquus, which is an easier reading, it's that man, that faithful man of antiquity, of old. In other words,
Okay. Yeah.
faithful man, which is kind of awkward.
All right. So that very faithful man of antiquity, Victoricus by name, who had said, let's see, who had said, it's been a long time, William. Who had said that? Let's see, everything.
Yeah, he had said everything.
He had said everything to himself in Irish.
That who had spoken about everything antiquam essent before they took place.
Okay.
And then ablative absolute with Sibi, namely with Patrick, placed in an Irish servitude. It's very interlocking, very kind of chiastic, right?
Right, but isn't Sibi dative? I mean, Sibi's not.
That can't possibly be an ablative absolute.
You're right.
Object.
You're right. Had said to him.
Yeah.
Having been.
Okay.
Thank you.
Had said to him. So, okay. Now, what does posito come from?
Pono, place.
Pono.
It's just with two S's.
Oh, right. Okay. Having been placed in servitude, posito and servitude are not in agreement. I mean, one is feminine and one is masculine.
Right. No, posito
Okay.
goes with sibi, and
Right.
and then it's in hibernica servitute.
Okay.
Placed it. So this is referring to this vision that he had when he was a slave back in Ireland, way back last week. And so, Victoricus had visited him, and he had spoken all the things which were going to happen before they did happen.
I see.
Visiting him in his Irish servitude.
He visited. Let's see. He visited him repeatedly by means of frequent visions or infrequent visions, saying to him that the time was near that he come. Let's see. What is it? Race? Oh, into the through the evangelical nets. Okay. Well, the fierce and barbarous nations, but what?
So those are the object of Piscaret. You have to go all the way to the end to find this.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So, wait. Okay. All right. So that he Piscaret means like to fish, right? So that he might fish for the fierce and barbarous nations to which having to be taught God had sent him. And there, let's see, in his vision dictum est, that it would be said to him in the vision, the sons and the daughters of Philippi, the forest, what is Folklitai?
It's I've never said this aloud in my whole life. It's cloth.
Okay.
Anybody got a better pronunciation of cloth?
No.
Okay.
Looks good to me.
All right.
Okay, so folkloth. Okay, so the sons and the daughters of the forest of folkloth and of other places call you.
Right. I think maybe the at caterer just means he said the sons and daughters of the wood of folkloth call you, and other things. He said other things.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
This is a medieval way of saying I'm only going to give you a partial quote of something that's quoted elsewhere, said elsewhere.
Right.
Just so you know how to refer to it. So they start with the phrase and then say etc.
Ah.
Okay.
It's kind of like yada yada yada.
Exactly. Yeah. You know the phrase.
Right.
Yada yada yada.
Yada yada.
That's what Victoricus said. Yada yada yada.
Okay. Good job, Matthew.
All right. Thank you
for doing that. Oh, that was great.
Yeah, one thing in there that's always tricky, that ad quas docendas. So when you have ad plus a gerund or gerundive, it can often be a purpose expression. So for the purpose of teaching whom, the nationes, God had sent him. So it's as though it said ad docendum illas or something nationes.
Yeah. Great. Anybody want to volunteer for 8.1?
I can. Oops. I'll do it if nobody else.
Is that Mona? Mona.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can do it. Okay, so section 8.1.
Yep.
Opportuno ergo tempore imperante comitante divino auxilio Ceptum ingreditur iter ad opus in quod olim preparatus fuerat utique evangelii. That's a funny looking spelling. Therefore, ergo, with suitable time commanding, or I guess when a suitable time commands, comitante divino auxilio, with divine help accompanying. He sets out on the journey. Coectum having been begun, or on the, just saying in general, he sets out on the undertaken journey. Ad opus, towards the work in which formerly, or he had formerly been prepared.
Right.
Spuerat.
Right.
Utique, namely, understood opus, or that, I guess, namely that of the gospel. Evangelii. Missit Germanus, and Germanus sent Signorum, an older man, cum ullo, with him, with that one.
That must be illo. I think that's just
ullo. Okay.
misprint. I don't think ullo makes
Anybody? I know I have a question mark by it. You know what it means, but you don't know what word.
Yeah, I wrote illo by it.
Yeah.
That's got to be illo.
Unitext has illo. I don't have the hook.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Sorry. And while we're on the subject, there's some dispute about properatus, whether it's properatus or praeparatus. Praeparatus would make lots more sense. And so anyway, yeah. So Germanus sent an older man with him.
Hoc est Sagitium Praesbyternum. This is Sagitius the priest. Ut testum et comitem haberet, quia nec ad hoc a sancto domino Germano in pontificali gradu ordinatus est. Older man is Sigitius. He sent Sigitius with him, so that what he, meaning I think Patrick, might have a witness, would would have a witness, and a comitum, a companion, because Patrick, he was not yet ordinatus est, was not yet ordained by the Holy Lord Germanus to the rank of, or to the episcopal order. He was not yet made a bishop.
Yes, very good. Yeah. Good. Okay.
I think I have an answer to the spirit question.
Oh, all right.
Somebody, towards the end of the discussion, mentioned that they thought it sounded like a Bible passage. It is.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. There's the story when the Pharisee comes in Matthew 22, book 22, verses 35 to 37, and he says, "Teacher, what is the highest law?" They're trying to test him. And Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind."
I know that. Right.
Yeah. So it's a slight corruption of that.
Okay, cool. Right. But of course that's totally obvious, right? I mean, that's in the catechism, Victoria?
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah. Catechism, right?
Yeah, it's in baptismal.
First commandment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Duh. Right. I just said, of course, I didn't learn it in Latin, so.
Well, it wasn't obvious at first, but I was like, oh, wait a minute. That isn't that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're on to Andrew. 8.2.
Okay.
Take it away.
Curti etenim erant quod Palladius. They were certain of the fact that Palladius, Archidiaconus, Papae Caelestini, Urbis Romae Episcopi, the archdeacon of Pope Celestinus, bishop of the city of Rome, qui tunc tenebat sed sedum apostolicum quadragesimus, quintus a Sancto Petro Apostolo, who then held a place for the. Now, is this like the Apostolic See, the 45th?
You better believe it.
Okay. What is that? I didn't really understand.
Well, sedes really means seat, right?
Seat?
Throne.
Okay.
Right. So literally, he held the apostolic throne, the 45th apostolic throne from Saint Peter from Saint Peter the Apostle.
Okay.
And if you want to know what that means and whether it's true and how much it matters, do you have required theology classes at Holy Cross?
We don't have required theology classes.
Take a theology class or ask a theologian, right?
Okay.
I am the last person to tell you what it actually really means that the See of Saint Peter. I'm being facetious. So sedes gives us the word see, right? The Holy See,
Right.
S-E-E, which is a corruption of sedes. I don't know when that happened, right? And it literally refers to the bishop, the episcopal throne that every bishop has, and the Bishop of Rome has. I mean, he has a throne, right? I haven't checked lately, but he probably has more than one.
Technically, at this point, the Pope is still just the Patriarch of Rome.
The Bishop of Rome, but he is.
And you have other patriarchs or bishops.
Right.
The head one would still be in Constantinople.
Well, I don't know about that.
They're starting to split at this point, but I mean, obviously there isn't a real split until 1054. But
right. but clearly, these guys think that you go to Rome if you want to get the hot scoop from, if you want to be a bishop, you go to Rome, right?
That whole western area is currently at that point is under the bishopric of Rome. But if you talk to the Patriarch of Constantinople, it would be a different story.
Well,
or Alexandria.
Right. But this is clearly a statement of I can't remember. I can't think in these right terms. This is a clear declaration that the apostolic succession matters.
Right. Papal priority.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and Leo the Great, by the way, who's contemporary with Patrick, is the first pope to actually put forward, that the Bishop of Rome has supremacy.
Right.
So, that's going on here, where we're really starting to make that argument for the Pope in Rome,
right,
being able to ordain anybody he wants. That's beginning right here during Patrick's lifetime.
Right.
Yeah. Hence why he's claiming to be the 45th, even though he's the 41st, after St. Peter,
right,
who led the church after Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
So going back, so Andrew, going back, you do know that the Pope is the spiritual descendant of St. Peter, the first Bishop of Rome.
I did not know that.
Okay, that's why you should take a theology course when Holy Cross, or at least hang out with theologians.
I'll go find some.
Go to St. Peter's in Rome, and the tour guide will tell you all about it.
Okay. Anyway, keep going.
All right. Ille Palladius ordinatus et missas fuerat ad honc in solum sub Rumali rigore positum convertendum. Convertendum. What's the rule on the V's when you pronounce it W and when you
well, Ken, I'm getting this. All of these issues are so fraught. Classical Latin says "wa."
Okay.
Ecclesiastical Latin says "va," and medieval Latin says both.
Yeah, depending on the time and the place and the person.
Right. So I'm pronouncing it as a classicist would, an American classicist. It doesn't sound very much like a Roman. But it's also the just to take that one word, convertendum, right? Somehow or other, if you get the quantities right, the rhythm will be right. Right, rather than I can't remember what you said.
I said convertendum.
I don't know.
Convert. I think it is yeah.
It's the weird thing about Latin. I mean, the cool thing about Latin, classical Latin, is if you get the quantities, the length of the syllables right, your tendency as an English speaker will be to accent it exactly correctly. Right. It's just that we don't always get our quantities right, and therefore we accent it incorrectly sometimes.
Okay.
So, anyway, You can't. That's a long. If you're interested, you should get a good recording of someone reading Latin. Go to the website for this course and go back to for the very first year. I got this guy who has a great sort of Spanish Latin accent who reads all of the Gesta Francorum in slowly and carefully, and it's very good for just getting the American rhythms out of your head and getting Latin rhythms into your head.
Okay.
Anyway.
Right.
Keep going.
Okay, I translated that as that Palladius founded and sent to convert this island beneath the cold of the winter.
Say that again.
Is that completely wrong? Okay, so we started at Ille Palladius to the end. That Palladius founded and sent to convert this island beneath the cold of winter.
Yes, sorry. Right. He was ordinatus. He was ordained and sent to this island, placed under this. I love this. I mean, anyone who's spent any time in England, Scotland will appreciate this, right? Placed under the rigor, the winter rigor, right? Sent for the purpose of converting this island, placed under the wintry rigor. Good.
Okay.
Keep going.
So then, sed prohibuit. Is that right? Prohibuit. Prohibuit. Okay. Illum Deus, but God prohibited him. Quia nemo potest accipere. Accipere. Quicam de terra nisi datum e fuerat de Kylo. Because
Nisi datum ei fuerit de Kylo. I can't tell you what the rule is. No one ever says, what do you call that kind of an A? No, we don't use those A's.
What, datum?
So datum.
Datum? Okay. Nisi datum e fuerit de Kylo. Okay. Because no one can accept anything from the ground unless it is given from the sky.
Yes.
Okay.
Does anyone know what that means?
I figured it was like, it has to be blessed by God for someone to use it.
Yeah, drawing a distinction between papal action and divine action. Right? The Pope did this, but God wanted Patrick to do it. And so Palladius was unsuccessful, is basically what he's trying to say.
Well, also, this is the period when you've got Manichaeanism fully in play. And so there is this idea that everything of the spirit comes from God and the earth comes from the devil. That eventually becomes heretical, but around this time, there are a lot of people who believe in it. And the Irish were very strict. I mean, they're notorious for their asceticism, because they kind of implicitly feel that everything earthly comes from the devil. So hence why they're doing all these mortifications of the body. So it could be that. I mean, and the papal authority comes from God. It's probably the most literal.
Right. No, I like that. Okay, keep going, Andrew.
Okay. Nam nequi he feri et in mites homines facili reciperant doctrinam ius. I said, for wild and savage humans do not easily receive his teaching. Okay.
In the past, they didn't.
They did not? Okay.
Right.
And that's one of those past tenses that this has been spelled differently and presumably pronounced differently than classical Latin. It's reciperunt in classical Latin. So there's some sort of spelling error or vowel weakening going on.
Right.
Okay. I said, nequi et ipsi voliat transgeri tempus in terra non sua. Neither does he himself want to put time into a land that is not his, land not his.
To spend time, transgere. the past time, and then ablative of place in a land that wasn't his. He just didn't want to stay in it. He went to England and he didn't like it on this theory, right?
Okay.
Probably too cold. And also perfect, right? Woluit is perfect of Wolo, right? So he didn't want to do that. Good. Wait, come back.
The lights turned off.
Okay.
Yeah, if you were having trouble finding transegra, it's because you would find it in the dictionary under transegra with an I.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a compound of transago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So sed reversas est ad iam qui misset illum, but he has returned to that which he sent.
Wait a minute.
Because misset is sent, so he sent, and then reversus is return.
Oh, right. Sorry.
He has returned.
Yeah, so am masculine, he's returned to that person, qui, who sent him.
Right.
He sent him. Okay. Am. Where's person?
Because it's masculine, you can just assume to him that masculine person who sent him. You could say to him who sent him.
Him who. Okay. Then revertente, vero, eo hinc. I said you return truth, hence I go.
No, revertente eo is an ablative absolute with him returning hinc from there, and then vero just means truly, or it actually really just means but, right? But with him returning truly, with him returning from there, okay. You see the ablative absolute eo revertente?
No, not this time.
Well, it's partly the order's reversed, and it's partly that vero comes in and messes it up. But the core ablative absolute is eo, right? Ablative of is id, the present participle in the ablative. So with him returning, hinc from that place, and vero, vero and verum are two of the most annoying words in Latin. Theoretically, verum means in truth in the sense of but, and vero means in truth in the sense of truly, but both of them can mean the other thing, right? And here I think it just means but. But with him returning from there, and then another ablative absolute, primo mari transito, or mari transito, with the sea having been crossed.
Okay. Huh.
And then another ablative absolute. This is really good practice, right? And with the itinere coipto, can you do that as an ablative absolute? With the itinere terrarum coipto.
Okay.
With the journey
having been begun by land or on land.
Right. Well, yeah, the journey of the land having been begun.
Oh, okay.
So 3 ablative absolutes in a row. Really good practice, right? Having done those 3 things having happened, and then you get to the main sentence. In Britonum finibus vita functus.
I said finally died in Britain.
Right. He died. Literally, vita is ablative. Like he kind of performed. I don't know. It's just an expression. He died in the territory of the Britons.
Oh, okay.
He was trying to make it back to Rome, presumably, but died. And all of that is this mysterious, according to Murchú, totally failed first mission of Christian mission to Ireland by this guy Palladius. And you can see that there's a deep desire of Murchú to make Patrick the guy who was responsible for converting Ireland, because Patrick would die. And so the mission of Palladius for many scholars is famously kind of almost written out of history as being unimportant. And that leads to this whole complicated question of whether maybe Palladius was also called Patrick, or maybe the stories attributed to Patrick really should be attributed to Palladius. Larry, I don't know if you have a view on this. Is there a standard view now about this?
No, it's still kind of debated as to whether or not they've been conflated, Palladius has been conflated, or whether we should take Virtue's story for it, and there's two different missions. So there's still debate.
I wish they'd just settle it and get back to me. But
well, on the available evidence, it's kind of hard.
I think part of the problem is that Palladius was apparently a subscriber to the Pelagian heresy.
Do we know that?
Well, I was just reading up on him, and that's one of the. I mean, he doesn't leave very much behind, and he seems to have been subsumed into the whole St. Patrick's legend.
Right.
Which is hence why we're not sure whether he is St. Patrick or whether he did stuff that St. Probably. I mean, he's an early founder kind of thing.
Right.
But part of the problem I think appears to be that he converted to the Pelagian heresy that was over in England. And so he kind of, when you get the Irish Church being brought into line with Rome later on in the 7th century, there's an interest in making that kind of person disappear from the history.
Well, where are you reading that he? Out of curiosity, that's a new one. So
I just closed it out. I was looking him up. I can try again. It's making the sense here.
If you think about it or find it, just email it to me later. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
If it's on the internet, it must be true. So.
That's why I say apparently.
Right. It's certainly news to me, but then many things are news to me. Okay. Good job, Andrew. Brian, you want to take it away? You ready for this?
Sure.
9.1.
Okay, here we go. Audita itaque morte santi Palladi in Britannis, quia discipuli Palladii id est Augustinus et Benedictus et Caeteri. And so, with the death of Saint Palladius having been heard in Britain, because the disciples of Palladius, that is, Augustine and Benedictus and all the rest, reduntes retulerant in eboria de morte eius, patricius et qui cum eo errant declinaverunt. Returning, had brought back news to Ebmoria concerning the death of him.
Good.
Patrick and those who changed the direction of the journey, Iter.
And Patrick and those who were with him, they changed the direction of their journey.
Okay. Thank you.
In other words, they took it literally.
Ad quendam mirabilim hominum summam episcopum amotheragium nomine in propinquo loco habitantem. They changed the direction of the journey to a certain wonderful great bishop, Amathorex by name, living in a neighboring place.
Good. And now, did I mess up the assignment sheet? Who's expecting to go? Is it Victoria's turn?
I can do it. I mean, it's, or
it is her turn.
I signed up for 9.2, but
that's it.
Okay, take it away.
All right. I'm sorry. I think I meant for it to be a long. Anyway, I don't know. So, Victoria, do you want to take over?
Ibique sanctus patricius sciens quae eventura erant ille. And thereafter St. Patrick, knowing what was going to happen to him, Episcopalem gradum ab amatorege sancto episcopo accepit, accepted the status or the role of bishop from the sacred bishop. How is his name? Amathorege?
Right.
Sed etiam auxilius Iserninusque et caeteri, and then my text repeats that sequence, auxilius Iserninusque et caeteri. I'm betting that.
Mine does too, and I don't know if I just didn't, if that is a remaining mess up. I thought I fixed that, but that makes no sense.
Okay, so leaving that second string out. Inferioris gradus eodem die quo sanctus patricius ordinatus est. So, but also auxilius Iserninus and others of inferior grade, and then understand were ordained on that same day on which Saint Patrick was ordained.
Yes. Good. Yeah, no, that is a total doublet that's just my fault in the text. Good. Did anyone prepare 9.3?
I could try it. I'll look at it.
Okay. Should we do 9.3 and wrap up? I don't want to push us too far, but
Okay. 9.3. Okay. This is section 9.3. Tum acceptis benedictionibus perfectis omnibus secundum mortem cantato etiam patricio quasi specialiter et convenienter hoc sonnistae versu, or versu. Tu es sacerdos in aeternum secundum ordinem Melchizedek. Venerabilis viator paratam navan in nomine Sanctae Trinitatis ascendit et pervenit Britannias. Okay, so this one also opens with an ablative absolute. Cum acceptis benedictionibus, then benedictions having been received, and more, and omnibus perfectis, and all things having been performed, secundum mortem, according to custom. Cantato etiam, also this verse, the versu, also this verse of the psalmist having been sung, you are a priest into eternity or forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. The venerabilis viator, the venerable wayfarer or traveler, in nomine Sanctae Trinitatis, in the name of the Holy Trinity, climbed onto, ascended, and the paratam navan, the ship having been prepared, the ready ship, I guess you could say. Into the ship he climbed, and he in pervenit Britannias, he came to the Britons. I guess that's Lower Britain and Higher Britain. Commissis omnibus ambulandi anfractibus praeter commune viae officium nemo enim desidia quaerit dominum cum omni velocitate flatuque prospero mare nostrum contendit. He reached the Britons, or Britain, and all the detours of walking, I guess you mean all the detours of ambulandi, of traveling on foot, anfractibus, having been avoided, or having been not avoided but disregarded or discounted.
Yeah, the anfractibus are the detours, with all detours of walking omisses having been
just not regarded or not
omitted. They neglected to do any detours.
praeter commune viae, except for the general requirement, commune officium of the way, for no one seeks the Lord by means of idleness or with idleness. Cum omni velocitate flatuque, with all speed, and with a flatuque prospero, with a favorable wind. He crossed our sea, which would be the Irish Sea, I think.
Right, as opposed to the Mediterranean, which
right.
is supposed to be, right? But it makes perfect sense, right? Good. I hadn't noticed that Britannias was plural.
Plural.
I don't know if in the Middle Ages, did they talk about the British?
I think there is an inferior and superior is the one that's in the south. Some map and some book somewhere is
north. Superior is always north.
North, okay.
Yeah, and in this case, of course, we have Great Britain and Little Britain.
Little Britain, right, which is Britain.
But is Little Britain Ireland?
No, Little Britain is Brittany. In France.
Oh.
So that's inferior Britannia.
So when he says pervenit Britannias, does he mean what we would call the island of Great Britain?
Yes.
He might.
Okay.
Probably.
Even though he's going to Ireland, or I guess he's going to the island of Great Britain first, and then crossing it.
The sea lanes there could be either one. He could be going, having traveled on land to Brittany and taking ship directly to Ireland from there, or across the Channel to Great Britain. I don't haven't read ahead yet.
Presumably, the way to get to Ireland is to cross over from France to Britain, to our Britain, walk across it, and then go get on a boat in the Irish Sea and go across. So that seems to be what happened. Okay, that makes sense.
Because Ireland's not part of the Roman Empire, so they're pretty separate at this time.
But Britanniae in the plural can mean Great Britain plus Ireland.
Well, that's what I wondered. In classical or in medieval?
Yeah, in Pliny, I'm looking at the Lewis and Short. In Pliny, it means that, Pliny the Elder.
Okay, that makes sense too.
So it does mean that.
Okay.
Does it?
That's what Lewis. That's what Lewis and Short said. Pliny 4:1630, section 102. Yeah. Also in Catullus, but.
But here you do kind of want it to mean just the one island of Great Britain, that they went there and then they crossed that and then they went to Ireland. Anyway, seems to me that's what.
Right.
Well, it's already kind of.
Is the later part, so.
Sorry, what?
Well, because he's crossing our sea, right? So that would indicate another leg,
right?
Beyond Britannia's.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem is that both Catullus and I think Pliny the Elder too are before the actual conquest of Britain.
Well, not Pliny the Elder.
So they would see them collectively in that period.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I don't know. I mean, Merchant, who knows what he'd think.
Well, Catullus is useful because it's poetry, so it could be. I mean, you can talk about the far off Egypts for all I care. He could.
But I'm just saying
every plural in Catullus could be a singular and vice versa.
But just saying that the conquest of Britain is relatively late in the Roman history.
Yeah,
so you have a fair number of Roman historians referring to it.
It's 44 AD. It's not that late.
Right. It's before Pliny, anyway, or at least contemporary. I mean, Pliny is alive and kicking.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, he dies at the
under Claudius. The Romans conquered Britain in 44 under Claudius.
Let's not argue about this.
The text here, I mean, it is spelled wrong for what it's worth. It's spelled wrong, and the fact there's no preposition is weird. Pervenio always takes a preposition.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I wouldn't want to be the person defending that text.
Okay. Right. Well, clearly there's a lot of looseness that happens in the Middle Ages, right?
Yes,
we know this, right? We recognize it with all the love in the world in a non-judgmental way. It doesn't mean that they're inferior. It just means they don't have the same grammar books. And after all, we would be lost without our grammar books. So let's be sweet to them.
Well, and you have a lot more people whose first language is not Latin.
Right, like Merchu.
May not even be their second or third, you know.
Anyway,
Merchu is the Lewis and Clark of Irish travel tales.
I was wondering, back at the beginning of that passage, why is patricio quasi specialiter convenienter in parentheses?
Well, I think I put them the parentheses there to try and make it clear that that was grammatically separate.
Isn't it just the like indirect object of he sang the psalm for Patrick?
Oh. Who sang? You mean like the psalmist sang?
Well, with this verse of the psalmist having been sung for Patrick, as it were, specially, and
Okay.
a lot of sense.
Yes.
It happened to be sung that day, but it was so great that it was sung that day for Patrick.
Okay. I'll accept that. Yes, better without. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. Have a lovely afternoon. Does anyone have anything else further to say about the Middle Ages?
Oh, I put a link to the
I saw that.
I
Yeah.
saw that. We will investigate.
It appears to be related to something called, I think it's the Caspari letters, and it's a theory that he's the author of the letters.
Oh, the Caspari letter. I never heard of them.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
Okay.
But there should be enough in that article to investigate further.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Nice to meet you or see you again.
As always.
Take care. Have a lovely afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.